All right, today we're diving into a massive, fundamental shift in how we all find information online. And honestly, this change is going to determine which businesses even survive the next couple of years. We're talking about a concept called owning the conversation. For what feels like forever, the game was simple, right? You search for a website, but that whole era, it's ending. And it's ending fast. The new way is all about conversation. You don't search anymore. You ask an AI a question. This one little change is rewriting every single rule we thought we knew. So first up, we've got to talk about the new sheriffs in town, the new AI gatekeepers. These AI assistants are quickly becoming the main way people get their info, and they're basically a wall between you and your customers. Think about how a search works now. The whole journey has changed. A person just asks a question, and then the AI does all the heavy lifting. It finds sources, it checks the facts, it summarizes everything, and then it recommends a choice. The human user? They might never even see your website. The AI is now your most important visitor. And this brings us to the single most important takeaway of this whole thing. Your goal isn't just to rank on a search page anymore. Nope. It's to become the trusted source that an AI, a large language model, chooses to cite. Being cited by an LLM is the new SEL. Full stop. Okay, so what does that mean for your website? Well, it leads to a pretty harsh reality, which is that static websites are basically dead. In a world where everyone is asking questions, a passive online brochure that just sits there and waits for clicks, it just doesn't work anymore. I want you to really let this next quote sink in. If you are not part of that conversation, you simply do not exist in AI-driven search. It's not about being harder to find, it's about being completely invisible, like you were never even there. I mean, the difference here is just night and day, right? A static website is totally passive. It just waits. But a conversational website, it's active, it's alive. It talks, it explains, it guides people, and it's constantly updating itself. So let's play this out for a second. Let's ask the most critical question. What actually happens when an AI shows up at your website, asks a question about your business, and your site just can't answer? And this is where it gets really scary. Another site's assistant, yeah, maybe even your competitors, will just answer on your behalf. You completely lose control of your own story, your own pricing, your own services. Someone else gets to define who you are. So how in the world do you fight back against this? Well, you have to adopt a whole new philosophy. You have to start owning your conversation. And this isn't just some new tactic. It's a completely different mindset you need to survive. So what do we actually mean by that? Owning the conversation is a strategy, a plan, to make your business the one definitive, authoritative source that AI systems trust and choose when they're answering questions in your field. And if you get this right, the payoff is just huge. Your information becomes the gold standard. Those big LLMs start citing you as the expert. Your website stops being a brochure and becomes this living, breathing knowledge hub where every answer is perfectly built to be found by both people and AI agents. All right, so that's the big picture, the what and the why. But how do you actually do it? How do you build this? Well, let's look under the hood at the engine that makes you the authority, the three-layer system. It really breaks down into three simple but super powerful interconnected parts. You start with the knowledge layer. Think of it as your business's brain. That brain powers the assistant layer, which is your conversational voice. And finally, you have the publishing layer, which is the engine that builds your authority. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with that first layer, the knowledge layer. This has to be your single source of truth. All your hard facts, your controlled data, pricing, features, all those FAQs, it all lives here. This is the foundation for everything else. Okay, so that knowledge layer informs your assistant, which handles all the questions. And together they feed into that third layer, the publishing layer. Now, this is where the real magic happens. So what does this magic layer actually create that builds all this authority? Well, it's an absolute content machine. It takes every single conversation and turns it into a clean, indexable Q&A page. It creates structured, machine-readable content. It's constantly pumping out fresh, new, interlinked pages that AI models are literally designed to find, trust, and reward. And look, this isn't just some theory we're talking about. This is real. The Sutherland Sally site was built entirely on this system. It automatically generated hundreds of these perfect Q&A pages. And the result? Major LLMs like ChatGPT now directly cite that website as an authoritative source on its topic. it works. Okay, all of this is building to the biggest mindset shift of all, the one that might be hardest to grasp. Your next customer is an AI. The majority of your future website visitors will not be human. Think about it. Your new visitor isn't a person clicking around. It's an LLM agent. It's a browser assistant. It's a research bot or an AI shopper. These are the new power brokers of the internet, and they are the ones you have to impress now. So, what do these new AI visitors actually want? It's not what you think. They don't care about flashy designs. They demand three things, and they are non-negotiable: structured data, accurate and super fresh information, and a conversational format. That's it. That's the list. And make no mistake, this isn't some far-off future. It's happening right now. New AI native browsers, like Atlas, are already here. They're blending search and shopping and research all into one conversation. They are the new gatekeepers, and they are the ones who will choose who gets a voice. So let's just end with this, because it really reframes everything. This is not about building another website. The real conversation isn't about cost, it's about existence. You're not just paying for a site anymore, you're paying to exist in the AI future.